وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربي زدني علما أجمعين inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase in all of us knowledge. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this session, dear brothers and sisters. Inshallah, you will like it. It's a very fascinating surah, and for me, it was a very daunting and challenging surah. Fascinating, but daunting and challenging surah. I have collected a lot of material. Inshallah, you'll like it. And I will read it slowly so that you can understand and enjoy it. And later on, when Brother Yusuf Jamal will send the recording tonight, you can listen to it again, inshallah. I promise you, you will love it. Alhamdulillah. Surat al-Shams. There are 15 ayats. This is an early Makkan surah which calls attention to the Tawheed, monotheism, and Risala, which is the messengership of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It stresses that whoever abandons shirk and purifies himself by adhering to Tawheed will have ultimate success. And whoever corrupts himself with shirk will be a failure. It stresses that whoever abandons the shirk and purifies himself by adhering to Tawheed will have ultimate success. And whoever corrupts himself with shirk will be a failure. It also points out that Allah gives guidance through His messengers and warns about the consequences of unbelief and disobedience. It points out that Allah gives guidance through messengers and warns about the consequences of unbelief and disobedience by citing the instances of Samud people who were duly punished for their unbelief and disobedience. So there is a story of people of Samud here in this surah. This surah is named after its first ayah, where Allah swears by the sun. Allah is swearing by the sun. Ash-Shams. Alhamdulillah. Now, I'm reading from Sister Iman Torres Al-Hanif from UK. The first part of the surah explains that Allah has given everyone a conscience. What is conscience? An inner voice. Allah has given every human being a conscience or inner voice to be able to know the difference between right and wrong. Yes, that inner voice is to enable us to know the difference between right and wrong. The person who learns to listen to the good voice inside him The person who learns to listen to the good voice inside him will find that this voice becomes sharper and more clearer. He will be successful in this life and the next life. Conscience. Consciousness of moral rights and wrong of one's own acts and motive. What is conscience? Consciousness of moral right and wrong of one's own actions or motives. The one who does not listen to his conscience but follows his lower desires or whispering of the Satan is the one who lets his conscience become corrupted. He will be a failure, The one who does not listen to his conscience, but follows his lower desires or whisperings of the Satan is the one who lets his conscience become corrupted, and he will be a failure. He chooses to live heedless and godless life. That person who listens to the whispering of the Satan, he chooses to live heedless and godless life. The second part of the surah tells some of the story of the ancient Arabian tribe of Thamud and their prophet Saleh, peace be upon him. Now we come to Abdullah Yusuf Ali. God makes the soul and gives it an order, proportion, and relative perfection in order to adapt it for the particular circumstances in which it has to live its life. Abdullah Yusuf Ali says, God makes the soul, creator of the soul, and gives it order, proportion, and relative perfection in order to adapt it for the particular circumstances in which it has to live its life. He breathes into it an understanding. Allah breathes into the soul an understanding of which, understanding of what? Understanding of what is sin, impiety, wrongdoing, and what is piety and right conduct in the special circumstances in which it may be placed. So God breathes into it, into the soul, an understanding of what is sin, impiety, wrongdoing, and what is piety and right conduct in the special circumstances in which it may be placed. Look at this, my brother and sister. This understanding that Allah gives us, this is the most precious gift of all to man. Yes, this understanding to differentiate between good conduct, corrupted conduct, piety, impiety, all these things. That understanding, this is the most precious gift of all to man. What is that precious gift? The faculty of distinguishing between right and wrong. Yes, this faculty of distinguishing between right and wrong is the most precious gift of all to man. After the 6 external evidence mentioned in the verse 1 to 6, after 6 external evidence around us in the heavens, in the sky, mentioned in verse 1 to 6. This internal evidence of God's goodness is mentioned as the greatest of all. This internal evidence of God's goodness is mentioned as the greatest of all. By these various tokens, man should learn that his success, his prosperity, his salvation depends on himself. By these various tokens, man should learn that his success in this life, his prosperity, his salvation depends on himself or herself, on keeping his soul pure as God made it. Yes, that is the purpose, on keeping his soul pure as God made it. And his failure, his decline, his perdition depends on soiling his soul by choosing evil. Yeah. So, of success, there's another side, failure. His decline, his perdition depends on soiling his soul, making it corrupted by choosing evil. Alhamdulillah. So now I still have to read more. Abdullah Yusuf Ali writes beautiful things, so I've written it all down here. 6 types are taken in 3 pairs. 3 pairs. 3 pairs. 6 types are taken in 3 pairs. From God's mighty works in nature as a token or evidence of God's providence, divine guidance, care, and the contrasts in its sublime creation, which yet contribute to the cosmic harmony. Verse 6, 1 to 6. I read again. 6 types are taken in 3 pairs. Pairs, remember. From God's mighty works in nature as a token or evidence of God's providence, divine guidance and care, and the contrast in his sublime creation, which yet to contribute to cosmic harmony. Yes, this was number 1. Then verse 7 and 8 describe the soul of a man with internal order and proportion in its capacities and faculties as made by God, is appealed to as having been endowed with power of discriminating between right and wrong. So this is another thing, Abdullah Yusuf Ali says that verse number 6 to 7, the soul of a man with internal order and proportions in its capacities and faculties as made by God is appealed to as having been endowed with the power of discriminating between right and wrong. Then the conclusion is stated in verse number 9 to 10. The conclusion is stated in verse number 9 to 10 that man's success or failure, his prosperity or bankruptcy would depend on keeping that soul pure or corrupting it. You keep your soul pure or you corrupt it. So the conclusion is stated in verse 9 to 10 that man's success or failure, prosperity or bankruptcy would depend on keeping that soul pure or is corrupting it. So now, this was one. Now I come to the number two. Number two. The first pair is glorious sun. The first pair, I should say pair, not prayer, is the glorious sun, the source of our light and physical life. The first pair, the sun and its light. The first pair is the glorious sun, Vashamsu, the source of our light and physical life. Okay, and the moon, which follows as X as a second to the sun for illuminating our world. And the moon, which is the second pair, which follows or acts as a second to the sun for illuminating our world. The moon, when it is in the sky with sun, is pale and inconspicuous. We can't see the moon. The moon, when it is in the sky with sun, when the sun is there, the moon is pale and inconspicuous. In the sun's absence, it shines. In the absence of sun, the moon shines with reflected light, or metaphorically, we call the sun's vicegerent. Then the moon becomes sun's vicegerent because it shines with reflected light and may metaphorically be called sun's vicegerent. So with the revelation and the great prophets who brought it, and the minor teachers who drive their light reflected or perhaps doubly reflected from the original source. So this is also very important. I hope when you will get it, you can either write it down, all these things that I have written, or read it, inshallah, and you will have this recording with you. Save it in your computer. So now we start from here. No, we start from here. Here. This is the first. I thought about all these things later on, so I had to, otherwise I would have put an extra page, but I just wrote it here. This is the first pair. What is the pair? Vashamsi Vaduhaha. Vashamsi Vaduhaha. By the sun and his glorious splendor. Two qasams. By the sun and his glorious splendor. Dr. Mohar, by the sun and its radiance, brightness. By the sun and its radiant brightness. Clear Quran. By the sun and its brightness. I would rather personally say, I swear by the sun and I swear by his glorious splendor, yes. But what happens? It doesn't say like that, because this becomes Mautufun Allah sun. So all the time, all the qasam that will come, they will all go back to sun, Mautufun Allah sun, the beginning. Mautufun Allah. Shams. But I would like to emphasize, I can emphasize now to you that I swear by the sun and I swear by his glorious splendor. Alhamdulillah. So now, Shams. Al-wawu harfu jarrin wa qasamin mabniun ala fatah. Yes. Wa shamsi. Huh, brother? Wa shamsi. I will ask. To Shams. Who made you majroor? Why are you majroor? Who made you majroor? Who made you majroor? Huh? So, al-wawu harfu jarrin wa qasamin mabniun ala fatah. So, harfu jarrin wa qasamin. Two functions of this waw. First function is acts as a harf jar. The second function is that it acts as a qasam. Wa shamsi ismun majrurun bil waw wa alamatu jarrihi kasra. So after waw, the shamsi becomes ismun majrurun. Ismun majrur, it became ismun majrurun bil waw wa alamatu jarrihi al kasratu wa jarun wa majrurun muta'alliqun bi fi'lin mahzufin taqdiruhu uqsimu. Yes. This is mahzuf. Mahzuf. Jarun wa majrurun. Jarun wa majrurun muta'alliqun bi fi'lin mahzufin taqdiruhu uqsimu. Okay. Wa jawabul qasam fi ayatil karimati tasiyati. And the jawabu qasam will come in verse number 9. What is that? Verse number 9. Kad aflaha man zakkaha. That will be the jawabu qasam. It will come in verse number 9. But I want to say something more. Uqsimu. What is uqsimu? It is coming from aksama yuqsimu. Aksama yuqsimu, form 4. And then uqsimu. So where is the file of uqsimu? Allah. I swear, that is the Allah. I swear, uqsimu. Uqsimu means I swear. I swear by what? By the sun. Okay, by the sun. Ism majroor. So, uqsimu. Okay, that by the sun. I swear by the sun. So we got all these things done. Uqsimu wa shamsi wa duhaha. Duha. You will be watching the spelling, You will be watching the spelling. I wrote down again. I write down from my side, Allah, I swear by the sun, and I swear by its radiant brightness. But the scholars define it differently. But I want to emphasize to you. If I emphasize to you, you will always remember in our mind. Or when you want to explain to somebody, then you can say both things. I swear by the sun and I swear by the radiant brightness. Now watch the spelling. Watch the spelling. Duha wa shamsi wa duhaha. So duha is the radiant brightness, morning brightness, duha. So here Waw, harfu atfin, duha, ismun, atufin means mawtufin ala shams. See now, duha becomes mawtufun ala shams, So everything will become mawtufun ala shams. So if there is a qasam in shams, then duha also carries a qasam. Duha ismu atufun ala shams majrurun wa alamatul jarrihi wal kasratul muqaddara. Now here, this statement, wa alamatul jarrihi al kasratul muqaddara. Remember, all the time it will come al kasratul muqaddara. So I am putting that kasra, estimated kasra. Kasratul muqaddara means there's an estimated kasra. My eyes cannot see, but there are eyes in my mind. They see, my mind sees. Yes, there is a kasra here. Because it is mawtufun ala shams, Ismu atufun ala shams. So I put here a kasra with a circle. So you must know that it is al-kasratul muqaddaru. Li ta'azzuri. Ta'azzuri. Maybe I should write down once. Li ta'azzuri. Remember this. Ta'azzuri. All the time it will come. I have explained you before, but I again want to explain it. It's better you listen to it. You will never forget, inshallah. So ta'azzuri. Ta'azzara form 5 is the master. Ta'azzara, yata'azzaru, ta'azzuri. Difficulty. Difficulty, impracticality, impossibility of putting kasra at the end of a noun or a verb which ends in waw and ya. You cannot put kasra or dhamma or fatah. No, it has to be estimated. Al-kasratul muqaddaru. The ta'azzuri means difficulty. Difficulty. I will write down only difficulty. Difficulty, impracticality, impossibility, various ways of explaining. Just keep that in mind. I wrote it down. Okay. And then, now here, I want you to understand. See, this is the original doha. But why the spelling change? You must understand. I think I have written somewhere. Somewhere I have written. But I'll explain when it comes. Why does the spelling of doha change into this? Why? See, when there is a pronoun attached, so we cannot then say, we cannot write doha like this. We cannot write doha like this. So what happens? This alif becomes tall alif, like that. Only when there is a pronoun attached to it. You will see all the time. Originally, doha is like this. And then when you attach ha, it becomes like this. So you should understand, you should not be gabarified, not to be overwhelmed. I'm explaining the rules of spelling. It will come all the time, and I am sure all of you are very strong and understanding. And see, that is the beauty I say to myself all the time. How can I remain attached to the Quran all the time? All the time, whenever I have a free moment, I want to recite Quran by myself. Because when you are attached to the Quran, it means you are attached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What more a person wants to remain attached to Allah all the time. And that is through the mercy and grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for sending us down the Quran. So the Quran represents Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech and it represents Him. So now Him means, that we are attached to Allah in that way. So now maybe I should remove this ha. It was only to show you. Wahuwa mudaf, yes. This becomes mudaf. This becomes mudaf. No, this becomes mudaf. Doha becomes mudaf. So Doha becomes mudaf. This becomes mudaf. And then the ha, damirun, muttasilun, yaudu ala shams, it goes back to shams. Ha goes to, remember ha, muannas, shams is muannas. So it goes back to shams, fi mahali jar. Mahali jar, mudaf ilayhi. Because mudaf ilayhi always are majroor. So we say fi mahali jar, mudaf ilayhi. So then doha becomes mudaf and ha becomes mudaf ilayhi and ha damirun muttasilun yaudu means returns to shams, fi mahali jar, mudaf ilayhi. Alhamdulillah. Did you get the idea? Now this is another thing we as a Muslim, we must understand. For us, this is very important to understand. Allah may swear by anything of His creation. Allah may swear by anything of His creation. But His creatures, we, Allah's creatures, we may swear only by Allah, by Him, that's all. But Allah may swear by anything of His creation. But His creatures, that is we may swear, if we have to swear, we may swear only by Him, Allah. One more thing. Always remember, when I look to the sky and I look to the moon and I look everything around me, and all of these things Allah uses as an instrument of swearing. These are all miracles of Allah. Sun is a miracle of Allah. Brightness is a miracle of Allah. Moon is a miracle of Allah. So, we must understand anything by which Allah swears, they are all miracles. Remember, everything you will see in the Quran where Allah swears, these are all miracles of Allah. Remember, that way we will appreciate more the nature around us or whatever Allah is swearing, Alhamdulillah. Now we come to verse number 2. What is the verse number 2? Wal kamari, again, kamari, majroor, iza talaha. Now here, there's only one qasam. Then iza comes as a zarf. And this is the verb. So, Abdullah Yusuf Ali, I swear by the moon. I just want to say, I swear by the moon. They always say by the moon. But as I said to you earlier, I will say it just for the class. I swear by the moon. As it follows it. Talaha means it. Ha is sun. Ha is sun. Follows it. The sun. Well, Kamari is a talaha. Watch the spelling. Again, same thing, you know. When pronoun comes, there is a spelling change. Just for that thing. Waw, harfu atfin, mabnin ala fatah. Kamari, what is Kamari? Ismun mautufun. Now, why? See, it doesn't say here, wawul kasam, waw harfu jar, wa kasam, it doesn't say. Only in the beginning. And here it will be harfu atfin. That is the way scholars define it. That's the way scholars define it. And then Kamari, moon, also kasam, but it is mautufun ala shams. Everything will be mautufun ala shams. Everything will be mautufun ala shams. Remember that. That's the way the grammarians and the scholars of grammar define it. So I swear by the moon as it follows it. Dr. Mohorali, by the moon when it follows her, his son, Monas. Kamar is masculine, and sun is feminine. Clear Quran, and the moon as it follows it. You know? So then we come here. Al-Kamari, Ismun Mautufun ala Shamsi. That's all. That's all. Majrurun Walamatu Jarri Kasra. Iza. No, Iza, we have to understand Iza. Scholars will guide us. We may not be able to figure out, but scholars will guide us. We will say, Zarfu Zaman. Iza is the Zarfu Zaman. Mabniun ala Sukun. Fi Mahali Nasbin. Yes, Zarf is always Nasb. All kinds of Zarf. Mafulun Fihi. Not bihi, mafulun fihi. Another name for zarf. Mafulun fihi. Don't worry if you forget, you will come across it. So, zarfu zamanin, mabnin ala sukun, fi mahli nasbin, muta'allikun, bi fi'al uksimu. See now, it goes back to uksimu. Muta'allik bi fi'al uksimu. Muta'allik بفعل أقسم الذي قدرناه, we determined it. قدرناه, we determined it. وهو مجرد من معنى الشرط. Yeah, this is here is not شرطية. It's only ظرف زمان مبني على السكون في محل نصب متعلق بفعل أقسم. فهو مجرد من معنى الشرط. So mujarrad means it is devoid. It does not have the meaning of shart. You know, it does not have the meaning of shart. هو مجرد من معنى الشرط, devoid of the meaning of shart. ويدل على الاستمرار. استمراري is form استمر, form 10. Form 10. Remember, form 10. Istamarra means something that is continuously coming without interruption. Yadullu Allah istimirari, continuously without interruption. Fine. Iza. Tala. See how that is actual tala like that. Huh? But it is written like this. Why? I explain you why. It is written like this. Whenever verb or noun which ends in waw and ya, and if there is a pronoun to be attached, then they change. Spelling wise, so tala, what is the meaning of tala? To follow. To follow. It followed. To follow, it followed. When it follows the sun, ha is the sun. Ha is the sun. Talaha. Now see how I wrote down this. It is written by the scholars. Huh? See how it is written by the scholar. Talaha. So you should not be confused. Be very clear. Huh? This is only a spelling rule. Huh? Tala written like that. And then is followed by a damir. It is written like this, When the moon follows the sun. Tala. Tala. Look at it. I'm writing tala like this so that it's more clear to you. فعل ماض مبني على فتاة المقدرة. Yeah. See, I will not be able to find fatah muqaddara there. Muqaddara means estimated fatah. Why? Litazuri, for difficulty of putting fatah at the end, or kasra or dhamma. So then that is what the scholars write it. It's very interesting, should not confuse us. Tala, tala, tala. فعل ماض مبني على فتح المقدرة. Yes, I wrote down فتح مقدرة. So I'm pointing with this arrow here. This is مقدرة. للتعذر, for difficulty of it. So this is not written normally to be understood, but for your understanding, this is Fatatul Muqaddara. وفاعل ضمير مستتر جوازا تقديره هو. Who is that huwa? Qamar. Qamar, moon follows. Iza tala. So yaudu taqdiru huwa, that is yaudu ala qamar. I am always interested when the damir comes as fa'ilun damirun mustatirun taqdiru huwa. I want to know where does this huwa go to. So it goes to the qamar. But jumlatu, now the jumla, jumla. Tala is fi'al and fa'il. But jumlatu fi mali jar mudaf ilayhi idha. See, idha comes, will always be mudaf. So is the mudaf ilayhi, this jumla, tala, fi'al and fa'il. Idha. Wa ha damirun muttasilun yaudu ala shams. Yes, yaudu ala shams. Mabniun ala sukun. Fi mali nasbin mafulun bihi. So talaha. Now this is verb. This is your mafulun bihi. Who is represented by ha? That is the shams, Ha, damirun, muttasilun, yaudu ala shams, mabnin ala sukun, fi mahli nasbin mafulun bihi. Yes, this becomes mafulun bihi because there is a verb. So after verb, if the damir comes, most likely it will be mafulun bihi. Most likely, but we have to figure out, inshallah. Inshallah, you'll all become very strong and you will enjoy coming to the class, understanding it. And when the recording comes tonight, inshallah, then you will listen to it again. But don't listen all it in one session. Break it half an hour and make a proper notebook for you to write all these things, because then they'll be lost otherwise. Unless you have books like I have everywhere around me, there are books. I do not have any furniture in my condo. Huh? There are books everywhere. Somebody comes, I have an ordinary chair, but in the first place, nobody comes. But somebody comes, there is an ordinary chair. That's all. No furniture. Why? I have no place. It's surrounded by books all the time. Fine, you got it, huh? It's done it, huh? Alhamdulillah. وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا جَلَّاهَا. Again, so here, I swear by the day, huh? As it shows up the sun's glory, yes. The day, when it comes, by the day, it shows up the sun's glory, you know. So by the day means I swear by the day, as it shows up the sun's glory. Dr. Mohar Ali, I swear by the day, it discloses her as it reveals the word. The day discloses her as it reveals the verb, discloses the sun that reveals the word. Her is sun and clear Quran. And the day as it unveils the world, you can say, as it unveils the world. Or you can say that also, or sun's glory, or whatever you want to say. Yeah, this is where I'm writing. Please understand the spelling rule. Yes, always this will come here. It will comes many times. It will come. So I say here, I write down over and over again. I swear by the day as it shows up the sun's glory. Yes, sun's glory. You know. Now we have to understand. I've said it before, that this waw will only be harfu atfin. That's all. Nothing more. Huh? And then after that, the ism will be majroor, going back to the beginning, as shamsi wa duhaha, wa shamsi. That goes the first qasam. All these things will be ma'tufun ala that. But I want to say it. And when you explain to somebody, we must say it properly, straightforward. Because if you say it is mawtufun Allah, how can a person understand mawtufun Allah if he does not know the grammar in detail? Now here there is another thing. Another thing. Refer to the previous verse. Previous verse. Mislu Arabil Ayatil Karimati As-Sabiqati. Previous one. So for the Arab, you will go back to now. You will go back to Wal Kamari Iza Talaha, Wan Nahari Iza, same Arab. So we are not going to do again. Nahari Iza Jallaha. So Jallaha. Jalla is like this, you know. So when you put ha, then the spelling changes to Jallaha like this. So we must understand, not be overwhelmed or confused. No, it's all very clear in Shari. So I have written here, there are Jalla an Niharu Shamsa, Fi'al, Fa'il, Mafulun Bihi. Ida Jallaha, like that. Huh? But I'm not going in detail. Jalla Niharu Zulmata. Jalla Niharu Zulmata means darkness. The morning shines, removes the darkness, or shines and the darkness goes away. And then I, kashafaha. Kashafa means to uncover, to expose. Sun's glory. The morning exposes sun's glory. It removes the darkness. That is kashafaha. And now again, same thing. Walayli idha yagshaha. See, all are like that. That's here. Then it will stop. And then we will go in a different direction, inshallah. Walayli idha yagshaha. I have written here, I swear by the night when it dwells it darkly. When the night covers everything, veils, it covers it darkly. So here again, they write, by the night, I swear by the night. But then this night will go back to Shams in the beginning, as it conceals it. It conceals the light. By the night, when it covers her, that is sun, as it dwells it darkly, covered by the night, and the night as it conceals it, the brightness of sun is concealed now. Yeah. Gashiya Yagsha, that is the thing. He covers, overwhelms, No, I've written here. When Nahari idha jallaha, second verse. Walayli idha yagshaha. Two verses, number 3, number 4. I want to say something to you. That's why I wrote it down. It is noted that the verse 1 to 10, 1 to 10, not these two verses, the verse to 10, 1 to 10, all are like that. It is noted that verse 1 to 10 stresses polarity, both physical and spiritual. Please pay attention. This is, I have copied it from Muhammad Asad, the message of the Quran. It is to be noted that verse 1 to 10 stresses polarity, two things, different, extremes, both physical and spiritual, inherent in all creation, yes. It is inherent in all creation, yes. Everything that we see in the creation is male and female, male and female. We have done this before, فَلَخَلَقَ اللَّهُ أَزْوَاجَ كُلَّهَا. Everywhere. So there is a polarity, physical and spiritual, inherent in all creation. Yes, it is inherent in all creation. Contrasting with the oneness and uniqueness of Allah. The meaning is this: except for Allah, He is unique. Okay, oneness and uniqueness of Allah. Everything else is having two different extremes, conditions, Polarity means the condition of having two poles, having two different extremes. This is, in the whole universe, it is like that, So I thought it was very interesting to mention it to you. There is always two extremes in everything. You can say simply male and female in everything on the creation, in the whole universe, except contrasted, except with the oneness and uniqueness of the Creator. Allah is alone. It has no partner, no nothing. Oneness and uniqueness of the Creator. Contrasting, this is all contrasting. I hope you will keep this in mind. Yagsha. So, Gashia, Yagsha, to cover, to overwhelm. Yagsha, Fi'lun Mudariun, Marfun, Walamatul Rafi, Dammatil Mukaddara, Litazuri. So, where is that Dhamma Mukaddara? Yagsha. I give a sign here of Dhamma with a circle. That is the Dhammatul Mukaddara. Mukaddara, estimated Dhamma. Dhamma, which is estimated. My eyes cannot see, but I have eyes. We all have eyes in our mind. Our mind sees. There is a Dhammatul Mukaddara here. Litazuri, because it is difficult, impossible to put anything on here. Fa'il, Damirun, Mustatirun, Jawazan, Takdiruhu, Yaudu ala layl. Yes. Fa'il is Walayli idha yaksha. Fa'il is layl. Jumlatu min fi'l wa fa'il fi mahli jar mudaf ilayhi iza. See, Walayli iza. So iza will need a mudaf ilayhi. So that is your jumla min fi'l wa fa'il. Jumla min fi'l and fa'il fi mahli jar mudaf ilayhi iza. وها ضمير متصل مبني على سكون في محل نصب مفعول به ويعود وهو يعود على شمس. Again, it goes back to Shams. مفعول به. Did you get the idea? Inshallah. يعود على شمس. Okay. مفعول به. As I say, it's written here properly. I don't have to guess, but otherwise, if you say anything, mafulun bihi, this time it is mafulun bihi, huwa yaudu ala shams, No, so there's a little bit more description. Walayli idha yasturu shamsa. Walayli idha yasturu, satara yasturu, to cover, to conceal, to veil, shamsa. For tuzlimu ufka. Ufku means horizon, range of vision. Ufkun. It is, we know al ufku means range, horizon. But tuzlimu means it darkens the horizon. Everything that the night darkens everything around us. Alhamdulillah. I hope you got it. Yeah? Now we come to a different set of qasam and we come to a different set of qasam. Now I read everything. My mind does not accept it. My mind does not accept it. So I always ask questions, but Alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed me with so many books in the last about 20, 25 years, I have collected books, and I always quote to you about that Fakhruddin Kabawa, the 5 volumes of Fakhruddin Kabawa. And I look there and refer to it all the time. So now, here was Samai, I swear by the sky. And most of the author will say, was Samai Vama Banaha. I have everywhere here, most of it, except for Abdullah Yusuf Ali and except for Muhammad Asad, they won't say that. So I was very pleased because it used to prod me, punch me all the time, that this is not right. So here is what it is. See, even Dr. Mohar Ali, whom I admire so much, but they have their opinion, but I think it is wrong. When I explain you, you will understand it is not correct. But Samai Vama Banaha. So here, I swear by the sky. And I swear, no, when I say I swear, that is Allah is swearing. Huh? So Allah swears by the sky and Allah swears by him who built it. No, that does not make sense, my brother. It cannot be like that. So everywhere I have in the books, by the sky and him who built it, by the earth and him who spread it. I have written everywhere, you will see it. If you have some translation at home, you will check it. They will all say, by him, by the sky, and him who built it. So it means Allah is swearing by sky, and Allah is swearing by himself, on himself. Allah swears on himself. No, it is not so. It is not so. So then, Abdullah Yusuf Ali, you know Abdullah Yusuf Ali is originally from Mumbai, India. What he has produced in his explanation of the Quran is absolutely fabulous. Fabulous. You cannot describe it. Alhamdulillah, I have the copy of Abdullah Yusuf Ali. I refer it. And I have copied everything down here. So I cannot say I swear by the sky, and which is Allah, and I swear by him, which is Allah himself, who built it. No. Then this is where the Abdullah Yusuf Ali comes, and he explains. You know it. I had explained you last time in the last surah also. That ma, remember ma, ma is the ma masdariya. Ma masdariya in Arabic. No, this is Abdullah Yusuf Ali. Huh? Ma masdariya in Arabic. In this and the subsequent clauses is best translated in English by nouns, This thing, okay, ma masdariya in Arabic. In this verse and in subsequent clauses is best translated in English by nouns. Now, thus, therefore, what will be how we will describe it? Thus, what would literary be? And the wonderful making of or construction of it. Yes, you see. Now, if you say, I swear by the sky, Allah says, and Allah says, I swear by the wonderful making or construction of it. Now, we know that this wonderful making and construction is by Allah, but Allah is not saying it like that. Allah says, and the wonderful, I swear by the sky and the wonderful making and construction of it. Did you get the idea? Or the fact of its wonderful construction. Idiomatically, its wonderful structure. Yeah, all these things are explained by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. Yeah? So then will be, I swear, Allah says, I swear by the sky and I swear by the wonderful making and construction of it. Now we know all this is done by Allah, but Allah says in a different way, where we use ma mastariya. And all that ma mastariya is explained by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. So now, that is why it is the way correct. I feel comfortable. I feel very comfortable. So here, Abdullah Yusuf Ali, by the firmament, that is the sky, and its wonderful structures, you see. Allah says, I swear by the firmament and its wonderful structure. That's it. We did not say him. I swear. Allah says, I told you, you know, I swear by the sky and him, I swear by him who built it. No, it will be by the firmament, that is the sky, and its wonderful structure. I hope you will listen to the recording that will come tonight, inshallah, and you will ponder upon it, what I'm saying. I was so delighted when I read all these things. And the same thing happens in Fakhruddin Kabawa's 5 volumes. Same things, you know. So what is firmament? What is the sky? Which is translated as a firmament. And its wonderful structure. Yeah, that is beautiful. Firmament is the arc of the sky heavens, you know. From one corner to the another corner of our vision, we see an arc, and that is firmament. Firmament, the expanse, not expense, but expanse of space, significantly large area or range. This expanse of space, significantly large area or range surrounding the earth. Yes, you see, from one side of our vision to another side, so it becomes like an arc, you know. So that is the firmament. By the firmament and its wonderful structure. Yeah, that is beautiful. Yeah, Alhamdulillah. I can expanse means, you know, this significantly large area or range, a broad extent as of land or sea, the expanse of earth surrounding the earth, yeah, the expanse of space, I beg your pardon, the expanse of space surrounding the earth, you know, whatever area, that's all sky. For us, it's a sky. So it is firmament. Okay, now you will come here. Va, the harfu atfin. Ma fiha wajhani min al-i'rab. This ma mastariya. Remember this ma mastariya. Ma mastariya has got 2 faces of i'rab. But I cancel the other one. I cancel the other one because it is It goes back to Wasamai wa Qadir al-Azim. No. Allazi banaha. No, that is not. So I have cancelled it. But I have here ma harfu mastariyan. So it means ma will make a mastar. Harfu mastariyan. Mabniun ala sukun. Wa huwa and ma wa fi'l ba'daha fi ta'wil mastarin fi mahli jar mawtufun ala sama. Yes. I look at it. Wa I samai bina'aha wa bina'aha. See, not banaha but bina'iha. Binaiha, mastar. This is binai is a mastar from bana. Binai, making. I swear by the sky and making of it. Making of it. Banaiha goes back to sky. See here I've written again. Was samai, I swear by the sky and I swear by making of it. You know, that is the way it should. Sounds much better, alhamdulillah. So now then, you know, the ma mastariya, wa ma banaha, see? Wa samai wa ma banaha. So bana is a normal, it will have a file. But then we change that, into mastar. So bana fi'l madin mabniun ala fathatul muqaddara, of course again fathatul muqaddara. Fa'il damirun mustatirun taqdiru huwa. Who's that huwa? Al-Mawla ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa jumlatu la mail laha min al-i'rab silatul mawsulul ismiyu or harfiyu ma. Now when ma comes, which is will also have, it will make silatul mawsul, which would be like allazi. Ismul mawsul, and this will be silatul mawsul al-ismiyu, or you can say al-harfiyu ma. Please note this also, should not be difficult. Okay. Waha damirun muttasilun fi mahli nasbin. This is maf'ulun bihi. Did you get the idea? Inshabanaha. But we are going to make this into mastar muawwal, you can say, or you can say ma mastariya, and then we say ma mastariya, and then we'll change it in English according what I said to you. And wonderful making of or construction, remember, and its wonderful structure. That is what we'll say. But that is why I crossed this. No, we cannot have that. This is all right, you know. Alhamdulillah. Again, it comes. Again it comes, you know. Abdullah Yusuf Ali, by the earth, now it was sama, now by the earth, and its wide expanse. I swear, Allah says, I swear by the earth, and I swear by its wide expanse. Yes. So this is better, you know. I swear by the earth, which Allah made it, and its wide expanse, which Allah made it, you know. Wama tahaha. So refer to verse 5 for analysis, which is previous one. This is number 6. Unzur, I'rab ayatil karimatil khamisati. But here something is better written here. It's written here. I will show you. What is this? Wal ardi wa ma tahaha. What is the meaning of tahaha? Taha. Tahaha. So here is the taha, the verb taha. Basatal ard fi kulli janibin. To flatten, stretch out the earth, min kulli janibin, from all sides. Stretch out the earth, flatten the earth from all sides. All side, Tahaha, basata, to flatten, stretch out, al-arda, flatten the earth, stretch out the earth, min kulli janibin, flatten it, remove everything. Janibin earth. وَيُقَالُ taha al-makanu, here it is, in basata. What is the meaning of taha al-makanu? In basata wattasa'a, that is the meaning of it. I have written here, you should not be able to find difficult. See, now, on your own, you may find difficult, but you have a teacher when it explains. My job is to make it easy and interesting so that you will never, never, ever forget. And maybe someday you will stand up and teach. And you will use all your knowledge, all your notes, and all your books. So in Basata, Form 7, to spread out, to expand. Vattasa'a, this is Form 8. In Battasa, Form 7. When in comes in the beginning, it is Form 7. Vattasa'a. To widen, broaden, stretch. That is the meaning. From all sides. Did you get the idea? Alhamdulillah. And now this is another thing. We'll see, we can do it, inshallah. This is the next one. The last one of Ma Masdariya. This is the third one. I noted it down. I wrote it down for you to see. Number 2, Ma Masdariya. And number 1, Masdariya. Number 1, Masdariya. And I write down all these things. And its wonderful structure. And its wide expanse, you see, and its wide expanse. And now the third one. I swear by the soul, yes. And the proportion and order given to it, everything. Our soul, our body, you can say in a way, has its proper proportions and order given to it, everything. Again, the same thing. وَالنَّفْسُ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا وَالنَّفْسُ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. Why it is nafsu? Because waw comes and here it is majroor, so we joined it. وَالنَّفْسُ. So this is because vowel, this is not vowel kasam, but it represents. This is a harfu atfin, But because this is mawtufun ala shams in the beginning, so it is majroor. Soul, wama sawwaha, and the proportion and order given to it. So I have written here. I want to just explain you where it is easy for you to understand and explain. So what is the meaning of all this? Ansha'aha, this is form 4. Ansha'a, to set up, to establish. Ansha'aha wa sawwa Aza'amaha, aza'aha, aza, body parts, organs. To, Allah set it up. Ay ansha'aha wa sawwa aza'aha. And Allah set up all the body parts. So here, I have written here, brothers and sisters, udhun, singular. Udhun, one organ, one body part. Ada, the other organs and body part. So what is the meaning of sawwaha? One minute. Huh? Yeah, that is some. No, that is the end of Ma Mastariya. Sawwa. Form 2. He straightened it, duly shaped, made equal our body parts, make good, put in order, perfected its make, smooth, leveled, everything Allah did it. Sawwa to our body parts. Again, I read it. Sawwa, form 2. He straightened, duly shaped, made equal, make good, put in order, perfected the make, smooth, level. So this is what the meaning is, you know. Ay ansha'aha wa sawwa aza'aha. Sawwa, aza is body parts, organ. Sawwa, I told you here. Alhamdulillah. So now, this is very fascinating. Huh? This is very fascinating. So, brothers and sisters, I didn't want to rush it. I want you to understand. Not only understand, I want you to enjoy the dars. That is my aim. And I pray to Allah to help me do it. I pray to Allah, Ya Allah, grant me beautiful thoughts, beautiful speech, beautiful memories, so that I can explain you all. And I pray, Ya Allah, bless the students to understand it with ease. Bless the students, the understanding of it with ease, all students, you know. So I pray for myself, may Allah make it easy for me to teach you. And I also pray, Ya Allah, make it easy for students to understand it. That is my prayer. So this thing we will do next time, my brother. Very beautiful, fascinating, fascinating. Alhamaha fujuraha wa taqwaha. Fascinating, very fascinating. And alhamaha, again, Allah has, see the fa'il damirun mustatirun taqdiruhu huwa, that is al-Mawla ta'ala, Allah, alhamaha fujuraha wa taqwaha. That we will do it next time, inshallah. I hope you will come to the class next time. We'll start from verse number 8. Tonight, Brother Yusuf Jamal will send you the recording of session 1. Next week, we'll start the session 2. Now, there are quite a few verses, about 10 of them, but we have already studied all the notes that I had written. Everything I had notes, so there'll be nothing to repeat, only analysis. All this analysis, nothing, no more notes, no, nothing. So inshallah, I hope you enjoyed it. May Allah bless you. We say our prayers now, brothers and sisters, that may Allah grant you barakat in everything you do in your life, in your family members. So let us pray in detail. Please say Amin with me also. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your sacrifice of time to study and understand the Quran and Arabic language as hasanat in your scale of good deeds. In your scale of good deeds for here and for akhirah, you know. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all, your spouses, your children with excellent health, barakat in your rizq, in your jobs, in your businesses, in your careers, and in your professions, in your education, and in the education of your children. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all with strong memory and deep knowledge of Arabic to understand in depth the message of the Quran, so that we all feel the miracle of the Quran in our hearts. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enlighten our homes and our families with the light of the Quran, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instill this light in our children. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us all safe and protected from the evil of this virus and natural disasters. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect the Muslim Ummah all around the world, wherever they may be residing, from the evil of this virus and natural disasters. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect the humanity at large from the evil of this virus and natural disaster. Inshallah, we'll see you next Sunday. I hope you will all come. Okay. Keep safe, observe physical distancing wherever it is required, and follow the guidelines of the health authority. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. See you all next Sunday, inshallah, at 1:30. Jazakumullahu khairan. Take care, my brothers and sisters. Once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.